In terms of positive, negative feelings on Vladimir Putin, just 6% of Alaskans say they have a positive view of Vladimir Putin. 83% have a negative view of him. And when you look at the Ukrainian leader, Vladimir Zelensky, more than half of Alaskans have a positive view of him, more so than even of Donald Trump.
Okay, let's take you straight to Anchorage and speak to James Brooks, reporter for the Alaska Beacon. James, good morning from us.
Oh, good evening from here.
Very good to speak to you. How have preparations been in Anchorage, in Alaska, ahead of this hugely significant summit later today? What's happened so far in the previous couple of days?
It's been pretty remarkable to see this whole thing be spun up on relatively short notice. Normally, these types of events, for example, when President Obama came here in Alaska, it was announced several months ahead of time, and there was lots of time for people to prepare. This time around, it's going very quickly. Diplomats and other officials being housed at the local university, the University of Alaska Anchorage. There were wide-scale protests across the state in favor of Ukraine today. Hundreds of people waving Ukrainian flags on street corners here in Anchorage. And then tomorrow, tomorrow local time, the main event as the two presidents meet.
Can you describe for us and help us understand where this is going to take place?
So this is going to take place at a military base called Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. It's a combination Air Force Army base. During the Cold War, it was one of the United States' primary defense points against Russia, and now it's a meeting point between the two nations just north here of Anchorage, a city, the largest in Alaska, of about 300,000 people.
I noted your own reporting yesterday as well, reflecting on, I suppose, how the kind of pro-Kremlin propagandists have been talking about the significance of this summit happening, first of all, in America, but second of all, in Alaska specifically.
It's been really remarkable to hear politicians and regular Alaskans talk about this. I was just looking at some flash polling results that came in earlier from one of our local pollsters who said that 95% of Alaskans are aware of this meeting. That's pretty remarkable given how quickly it's come together. In terms of positive, negative feelings on Vladimir Putin, just 6% of Alaskans say they have a positive view of Vladimir Putin. 83% have a negative view of him. And when you look at the Ukrainian leader, Vladimir Zelensky, more than half of Alaskans have a positive view of him, more so than even of Donald Trump.
The political context in Alaska is interesting, isn't it? Just talk to us about support for Trump, as you're guessing at there, and also I suppose the kind of the consideration that there are 1,000 Ukrainian refugees who have made their home in Alaska since the full-scale invasion as well. It makes for quite an interesting context and backdrop for the summit.
It does. Alaska has welcomed many Ukrainians since the invasion began. And Alaska has traditionally been a very friendly place to Donald Trump. He has improved his performance in each of the three presidential elections that he's run in so far, from 2016 to 2020 and 2024. He improved his margins each time in the state. But opinion polls have shown that since he's begun his latest term, views may be changing. Fewer Alaskans have a positive view of him now than they did on Election Day.
What will happen today, James? What do we expect the kind of plan to be, the agenda, the timings of the day?
Yes, the reporters will gather about 6 a.m. here, local time. We're expecting the meeting to begin sometime around 11 a.m. local time. They'll have their meeting, possibly a talk over breakfast, and then more substantial discussions, come out and hold a joint news conference. At least that's the schedule. And then both presidents will fly away at the end of the day. As President Trump has said, he hopes this is the first of at least two meetings, but potentially more.
Yeah, it is completely astonishing. James, good luck with it all. Will you be there? Will you be at the base later?
I will. I'll be getting some sleep shortly and then waking up early to make sure I can get there on time.
Can I actually ask, just before I let you go, if I may, for a kind of personal consideration from you on the fact that Vladimir Putin is going to be, well, in front of you later on?
Mhm. Yeah, one of the things I'll be interested in asking him if I get a chance is how nationalists in his country have expressed the desire and the belief that Alaska should be part of Russia.
Mm.
And I'm curious what he thinks about that. Does he think Alaska should be part of Russia as well?
James, we'll listen out for your question later on. It's a real pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
That's James Brooks, reporter for the Alaska Beacon, speaking to us from Anchorage. On a significant day, Trump, the deal maker, the peacemaker, perhaps. He thinks the best outcome from this will be a second meeting. That's what he's been sort of doing by way of expectation management over the last few days. He does have leverage. I think that's the key thing. Trump does have leverage over Putin by way of economic sanctions. Is a good outcome Trump emerging from this thing angry? Probably not. So that is something to consider also. And then we will be sort of trying to work out how the UK and European leaders can respond to whatever emerges tonight. Perhaps if it is the guarantee of a second meeting involving Zelensky, that's a more straightforward response for the UK and European leaders to say, great, this feels like progress towards a ceasefire and getting Zelensky in the room.
But will Putin agree to that? We're going to speak to Sergei Markov, who's a former spokesperson for Vladimir Putin, just after 6:30 this morning, to try and get some answers about what Putin's going into this meeting wanting to achieve. What are his expectations? I mean, there's some suggestions that actually, and not least in the Times today, that actually this isn't really about peace in Ukraine. This is about trying to get some economic ties going with the US again, doing some business and kind of, we'll mention Ukraine on the side, but actually we need to focus on doing more business together. So it's going to be an absolutely fascinating day.
We need to stand with Ukraine! They are our allies. Russia is our enemy. Let's not get it twisted. You can't hide. We charge you with genocide.
We have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good meeting, but the more important meeting will be the second meeting that we're having. We're going to have a meeting with President Putin, President Zelensky, myself, and maybe we'll bring some of the European leaders along, maybe not. I don't know that it's going to be very important. We're going to see what happens. And I think President Putin will make peace. I think President Zelensky will make peace. We'll see if they can get along. And if they can, it'll be great. A lot of locations, a lot of